Mahadev, Mahadev, Mahadev. Right, so we were on the vital force on the eyes and ear. Ear is over now, Shrotram is over. Now we come to the mind, is the part of it. In this itself, the prana itself, the fourth part is the mind. Mind is a very vast subject, as we all know it. You see, mind has got enormous capabilities in the physical level. Mind is the one which is necessary to be transformed. Mind is the one which has got changes. Mind is the one which is having emotions. Mind is the one who is the enjoyer, who is a doer, who is a karta, who is a bhokta. Everything is mind. See? And mind is an abstract, as we always say. There's no organ as mind is concerned. Mind is something which is a combination of the thoughts. So long the thoughts are there, mind is there. So long the emotions are there, thoughts and emotions join together, function of that. And these thoughts come from our past experiences. That's how the thoughts come, that's how the mind is there. That's why the mind, see, when we have the karma bhalas from the previous janma, the thoughts are created based on that karma bhala. Because of those, based on those experiences, the thoughts are created. And those experiences are stored in the udana. And when the next janma is taken, automatically what happens in this udana, the jivatma's udana, these thoughts are, these experiences are there. These experiences reveal itself as thoughts in the next janma while executing karmas or not executing karmas. So that is why you will find you get many thoughts. Many things are not connected with your this life at all. Sometimes, we say that it's a wild thinking, all that, we say that, you see. But they are all your experiences only. You cannot think, or your mind will not have any thoughts which you have not experienced or expected. Expectation is also, there is an impression. So whatever is impressed in the mind only will come as thoughts. Suppose you have an expectation, too much of a strong expectation, that also can come in the thought. And so much of experience, that also come in the thought. So this expectation is a future affair. But when you are born with the experiences. You are born with the previous experiences. So the initial series of thoughts are based on your past life karmas, past life experience. And from that, while executing the present karmas, the future karmas are created. See, that is how they called it as sancheta karma, prarabdha karma, sancheta karma, and agami karma. These three karmas they have defined. In fact, is there a past, present and future? Present, past. As I always tell that, these deviations are there only when you calculate, when you have a time. Who has a time? The time means that the biological time, chronological time. Yes. These times, when these times are there, then only you have got these calculations of past, present and future is there. This chronological time, when it is not there, how is there the past and present and future? So that is why you will find that there's a saying that live in present, because that is what you are executing now. This I have explained earlier also. When you are past, you are in the present. When you are present, you are in the present. When you are in future also, you are in the present only. In fact, what is that present? The present is by the time you say the present, you are already moved to the next. And that is the present. Is it not? By the time I say, I have read this line, You already completed it. This line is already read over. Now you are in, so that was the present, and now this is the present. By the time you say this is the present, you are in the future. You have a thought, and the thought is coming, and by the time you are there, there's a next thought comes. So you are in the future. So what is that present? What is that present actually? The present is it is a clarification that has been given to you that execution, that what you are doing is at present. So it is in the future also is a present. That's why whenever we use as I told you in previous classes somewhere, that whenever you use the past experiences for solving the problem of now, this doesn't match. Why? Because of that is an experience which has already experienced, and this is an experience which you are experiencing. So it is not called as a past. That is a different. That it is not. I won't call it as a past, present, and future. Here I will call it as a activity. That was another activity, and this is another activity. Even though the cooking is the same activity every day. Every day at this hour you are cooking. Every day the cooking is an activity. Can you use the same experience of yesterday for cooking today? No. It has to be depending upon today's environment, today's facilities, today's whatever things are provided to you. It has to be today. We call it as cooking, that's all. Am I right? When you write a letter, you had written a letter. Can you use the same experience of writing the letter in this? No. Except that you take the paper. No. Even then that is an activity, different activity. You don't take the paper as you have taken the paper yesterday. You don't hold the pen as you have held the pen yesterday. No. You don't have the same mood of when you are writing the letter as yesterday or the previous one. So everything is different. So that is now. That is why we call it as a present actually. Is there present? Is there no present? Now this is the debate. If you ask is there a present? There is a present. If you ask there is no present, there is no present. There is nothing called present. So the present, that is why the experience of the present, past and future. You must experience. That experiencing is the one which is necessary. So what happens when you go into the future tomorrow, when you are doing something, you are doing that. While you are doing that, that is called the presence. So when you have the presence, that what you are doing should be dharmic. When it is dharmic, that what you are doing now, that what you are doing in future, that you have done in the past, everything will become one. If it is become one, that means the pattern of experience that you are creating out of that karma is only one when it is dharmic. So the results will not remain there. Reminiscence will not be there. That is exhausted. So the mind only has to be trained according to that. Mind only is the one which creates. Because of the ignorance in the mind, it creates scarcity. From the scarcity you create a desire. From the desire you create an unfulfillment or fulfillment. And from the unfulfillment and fulfillment both, you create a fear. Fulfillment also creates a fear. Unfulfillment also creates a fear. Okay? Suppose you get something. Now how to save this is a fear. How to keep it is a fear. How to maintain it? You have, I heard so many people telling, all the last 60 years or 50 years or 60 years of my struggle, I have to come to this level. Now how to maintain this? So long, how to get it was a worry. Now after getting it, how to maintain it is a worry. And when it is maintained, whether it will be maintained throughout, that's a worry. When it is lost, that is a worry. So whether you attain it or don't attain it, fulfill it or don't fulfill it, everything creates a worry. The worry comes or the fear comes out of this unfulfillment or the fulfillment. They are all based on the desires. The desires are the one which are creating the fear. Insecurity in us. Tomorrow will this happen? Will the same thing will remain tomorrow also? or the future also. Future is that which is unknown. That is only a time, chronological time that you have created. There is a future. Whereas a Jivatma is concerned, or Atma is concerned, or a soul is concerned, or a prana is concerned, if you ask the prana or Jivatma, there is nothing called tomorrow. Everything is keeping on as it is, that's all. There is nothing called yesterday, there is nothing called tomorrow. That's why there is no change for the Atma and Prana. It is the same. Why this is not changeable? Because which are changeable? The changeables are the ones which are creating time, which are creating past, present and future for the self. The one who doesn't have the past, present and future is not changeable. Brahman is not changeable. Jiva Atma is not changeable. Prana is not changeable. Yes. The universe is not changeable, or the Prakriti is not changeable. Purusha is not changeable. None of them changes. Who changes? The one who has got the time is the one who is changing. Now, what is that time? Time is that one, it is according to your imaginations only. It is only your convenience that you have created a time. This is the morning, this is the evening, and again this is the morning, and this is the evening. Yes. This time is created. What is that morning and evening? What is that sunrise and evening? What is that morning and evening? You see. This all, every day it is a repetitive matter. Even then we call it as a morning and evening. It's only for your convenience that it is concerned, you see. When you are not, suppose you are not growing old, will you have a time? You won't have a time. We are growing old, so we have a time. I was 69, I am 70. I am 71, I am 72. No? Like, we have age, time, differences, everything. So this mind is the one which is creating all these things. So the mind is created based on the thoughts. And if I can create the thought which doesn't change, which doesn't have a change, which doesn't have an affiliation towards the emotions. Emotions are necessary, but emotions are to be utilized in the right manner. As I always tell that, one, see, when you have in materialistic way of thinking, when you think that it is desire, let's call it as a desire. In desire, what happens? There is a desire to the mind. There is a desire in the mind. Why there is a desire? Desire is there because it has a scarcity. The mind feels it is not with him, or it is not available, and it is necessary so that I can fulfill the karmas, is the imagination of the mind. So there is a desire to achieve something, or to get something, procure something, possess something. So it's a desire. Okay. Now this is a desire as far as the mind, emotions are concerned, materialistic way of concerned. Now suppose the same thing when you convert into dedication and devotion through tapasya towards the Brahman, is also a kind of desire. Is also a kind of desire. So desire is there, Moha is there. It is there so long the Jivatma is there, Moha is there. Only thing now what happens, what is the difference here? When you have a desire in the physical level of the mind feels the scarcity, so it has a desire. It's always like that. And when you have a desire, it's an imaginary, a desire is imaginary. It doesn't know by getting that you will fulfill the requirement or not. But mind, because of the previous experience or past karma phala, it thinks or it assumes that if I get it, I will fulfill the requirement. It is not sure. It may fulfill, it may not fulfill. So it is sort of fiction for the mind is concerned. So what happens here? It is an experiment going on, first of all. Second is that to do the experiment, he has to possess, to receive. Is called the desire of the mind. Whereas in spirituality, when you convert that same thing into the other side of it, what is that? Here you would like to have the jnanam, tapasya, and then upasana, nididhyasana, atma sakshatkaram, brahma sakshatkaram, brahma prapti. Now in all these things what happens? You have to have dedication and devotion. Okay. Now when you have dedication and devotion, even though it is for the Brahma Sakshatkaram, there is a desire. If you really analyze it, we can call it as a desire. It's a moha only. But what happens? Here the moha is not to get possessed, but to give. There the moha is to receive. So when you receive, you accumulate. When you give, you exhaust. You got it? That is why this moha, where the moha, this is concerned, we are not, saying that it is a negative attitude. Why? Because we are exhausting it to become the Brahman. Whereas here, we are going away from the Brahman and becoming more and more filled with karma balas, possessing it, accumulating it, all the dirt. See, both are done by the mind. It's a mind who transforms. It's a mind who changes. It's a mind who is functioning. It's a mind who has to be studied. That's why many people talk about the mind. It's a mind which has to be stabilized. It's a mind which is the one who is thinking. It's a mind who is the one who is going into meditation. Yes. Up to that it is a mind. And transformation also is taken to the mind only. After transforming, then the mind is no more there. That's why we call it as transformation of the mind. When it has been transformed, means it has changed its form and shape. It has become, what has become? The mind has become the antakarana or the jivatma. So there is no more mind, we call it, because there is no thoughts and emotions created, and there is no desire and the fear created, because the desire and the fear and the fulfillment, non-fulfillment, attachment, non-attachment, none of these things are created. Why? Because there are no karma balas left out. So this container is called the fictitious mind. This is the mind which always thinks that I will be fulfilled, this, that aham. Is that aham is there, first of all? It's also an illusion. The ahankara is also, the ego center is also from the mind only it comes. Aham is an illusion, I is an illusion. Who is this I? As I told you, it's a combination of Panchatattva's, Prana and Atma. How there is nothing, there is no, we call it as an identity, we call it as an individual. Indivisible is called individual. You as with the body and mind and these things is not an individual. Who is an individual? The individual is only the Atma. So you cannot, with all these paraphernalias in you, you cannot call yourself as an individual. There is no individual there. It's a combination of many things, you see. So many of them together. So the I is who? Who is this I? Even the body of yours is not as it was yesterday. It has changed. After 5 years, you are totally different. After 20 years, you are absolutely different. 30 years, you are absolutely different. Who are you? Is the one who has born you? No. Is there any claim? Is there any, who was so and so? When he was born, he was named as so and so. He is actually, strictly speaking, is he the same person? Can you address him the same name? No. No, technically speaking, when you analyze it, it's not that. Because lot of changes have taken place. None of the cells in your body are the same as you were born. All of them have changed. Is it not? Is it any sense? Keep on changing. The cells are dying and new cells are coming, new bodies. Everything is new. So the body is also new. Do you have any ownership on anything? No. My son, my daughter, my father, my child. Is there any ownership? There is no ownership. You cannot own anything because you are responsible only bringing the body into the world. That's all. Prana and Atma is not contributed by you. I have told this some time back somewhere. No, you are not responsible. Have you contributed the Prana to the child? Have you contributed the Atma to the child? No. Maximum what you have done is that helped in creating a body. Even the body has not been created by you. helped in creating the body, that's all. This is all what your insignificant part of your claim of that mind. You see, it's not yours at all. When you read strictly speaking, it's not yours. Well, then what is this? This emotion has been created in order to have the security of the society, so that people will take the responsibility and do some, because the child has to be brought up and has to be taken care and things like that. Even for animals this has been given, this emotion has been given to have the attachment towards the child. That will remain only till the child becomes self-sufficient. The bird will feed the small bird only till it can fly. The day it flies, it goes off. Don't know where it is and where you are. That's all, finished. So to have that, this attachment was given, this emotion of attachment was given. But if it is converted into the ownership of that, the possessiveness, the possessiveness is the biggest problem. Ownership is the problem. I want to possess. So mind is the one who is creating all these things. So through the mind we can, so he says that here, what is the discussion here? The discussion is here that through each and everything we can identify the Brahman. So through the mind also we can identify the Brahman. About the mind we have already discussed quite a lot. What is the activities of the mind and who is the mind and how it can be. What is the agitation of mind? You see, like in the sea, the external activities of everything is that, which is the root nature of the mind is absolutely as in the case of the Atma only. The basic nature of the mind is based on the Atma, that's all, as the principle. That's why that mind is there, the thoughts are there, so that we can function, execute our karmas and exhaust them. This capacity and capability is there to the mind. But what happens, as in the case of an ocean which has got constant agitation on top of it, waves, the mind also is like an ocean which knows inherent quality of this one is calmness and peace, and it knows what is supposed to contain and it's supposed to do, but there is a constant agitation on top of it in the mind, like the waves in the sea, which is controlling. This is superficial, absolutely. Being superficial, even though the bottom of the mind is not affected by that, but what happens? The external karmas, execution of karmas are affected by the waves. The ship which is going on the waves, it keeps on going up and down, but the ship doesn't know what is the nature, characteristics of the ocean below the waves, because it is never calm. It comes down, then again it goes up, again it comes down, it goes up, because of the waves. So what happens? This wave avarana in us, in the mind. Now this keeps on going. So long the thoughts are there, the mind will be agitative. So long the past experiences, future expectations are there, the mind will be agitative. It cannot be ruled out. The mind will be agitative. Now what happens? How to take care of it? Can the agitation stop? Agitation cannot be stopped so long the mind is there. Agitations cannot be stopped so long the mind is there, so long the experiences are there, so long the expectations are there. Okay. Now, how to transform the mind if this is the case? At what point of time we can transform the mind into the antakarana and the calmness and bring the peace and the jnanam towards it? And so long anything is agitative, it cannot absorb anything. It will always keep on taking it and pushing it out, bringing it and taking it out. It keeps on going. So I like it, I dislike it. I own it, I disown it. I get it, I throw it. I want it, I don't want it. I like this, I am attached to this, I am not attached to this. You see, in our life, this is what is going on, the play. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't like it. Sometimes I want it, sometimes I don't want it. The thing what I wanted, I don't want it now. The what I didn't want, I want it now. They are all caused because of the agitations of the mind, the superficial mind, which is called emotion. Even though the emotions are there in the subtle mind, as I told you, the desire and the moha here, The subtle mind, everything, the emotions are necessary to have the function of the mind for the process of execution of karmas. But because of this agitation, it is unable to reproduce the result out of the mind for what is necessary because of this agitations. How to do it? So these agitations will continue. Now how to transform the mind is why we have to have the jnanam. That's only the knowledge. How is that knowledge? Now when the knowledge comes, what happens? When you meditate, when you listen to Shruti through the Shravanam, through the Chakshu, through the Darshanam, through identification of the Jnanam, the mind identifies its own qualities. Now the mind, as far as the mind is concerned, what say? People say the mind is a monkey. It keeps on jumping from one branch to the other. A drunken monkey, like Swami Vivekananda said, the mind is like a monkey, it keeps on jumping, is what we all identify. And everybody said the mind and thought cannot be controlled. How can I control a thought? Is the question asked. When we talk about the thoughtlessness, how can we control a thought? If you try to control a thought, thoughts will keep on coming. Because who is controlling again? Who is controlling the thought? The mind is the one who is controlling the thought. And who is the mind? The mind is the one who is creating the thought. Now the one who is the creator of the thought, how can he control the thought? Contradictory activity of the mind you are expecting from the mind, how is it possible? It's not possible, is it? Yeah. He is a creator, he is a controller or what? No. Controlling has to be done by somebody else, So he cannot control the thought. Thought is created. So the mind is the one which is creating the thought. Now how to... So we don't call it. That's why controlling is not possible. What is control? Controlling is not possible. It has to be exhausted. The waves in the ocean has to be exhausted. Why there are waves in the exhaustion in the ocean? Is because of its substratum is moving. The earth is keeping on rotating, moving. Yes. That's why there are waves. That's why it changes in both directions. So the movement in the substratum has to be changed. So the ocean will be calm. Why the lake is not having those high waves? Why a small glass of water doesn't have that same quality? The substratum, this ocean has got a big substratum which is wide, and when the earth is moving, naturally the whole thing is shaking. Like in a pot of water, if you shake the pot like this, it will keep on, same thing happens. Now same way in the mind also the same thing happens. Why? Because of the accumulation of the thoughts, the substratum of you, the substratum of your activity is keeping on changing, shaking. Is why the waves, the emotions that is created on top of the mind, which is known as the agitation of the mind. That's why we don't call it as a waves. In ocean we call it as a wave. Why? Because it's a wave from the ocean. Yes. Here we call it as an agitation. Agitation is because of the function, a karma that is happening in the mind. It is not a natural activity to create agitation in the mind. Whereas in the ocean, creation of the waves is a natural activity. It is not intended by the ocean. It's not intended by the ocean. Yes, the waves. It happens because of its substratum is moving. So, ocean is not responsible for creation of waves on top of it. Remember? Okay. Now, there is a difference. So, when we compare, we have to understand it. Easy to understand also. Whereas in this case, what happens? It's a mind who is creating the agitation. What is the substratum in the mind? Mind itself is not an organ, not a water like shake. No. Mind is a substrat. Mind itself is a substratum. Who? The thought and emotion combined. The thought is the mind. When that thought form is not proper, which is known as agitation of mind. What do you mean by not proper? That one doesn't know what one is doing, whether it is right or wrong. That is why a dharmic way of living is necessary. What is dharmic way of living? The living according to the prakriti, the nature which has designed, which is there inside you, inherent inside you. It's not that it is not there. You, through the Atma, through the Antakarana, intellectual center, intellect or the Ahanka, ego center, and the Atma and the Antakarana, they have the inherent qualities of the same as in the case of nature. Whenever whatever has to be provided, this knowledge is already there. But the mind, which is an experience from the experiences which we have collected from the previous life, accumulation of that, they have contradictory opinions of the. That's why it has created a karma bala. A result or a karma bala has been created because it is contradictory to the prakriti, nature. If it was the same, there would have been a merging would have taken place. Here the merging did not take place because of the contradiction of the law of the nature and the thought what you have. Automatically what happens? This has created an agitation. When a function is being done or an activity is being done by the mind for execution of karma, because of the contradiction of the application of karma, contradiction in the sense, not exactly as it has been designed by the nature, but it has also added to it with the experience of your previous life or previous experience. So it has created an agitation. It's a contradiction, it's a friction. Because of that agitation, it creates an agitated. So now what happens? There is an agitation that is happening in the mind because they are contradictory. So there is an agitation. There is a friction. We call it as a friction. Let us call it as a friction. When it is not of the same nature. I am moving one towards the forward and moving the other one to backward in the same time is called an agitation, or which is creating a friction. Alright? If I am moving both in the same direction, will it create a friction? Will there be agitation? No. Same way, if the mind is exactly executing the karma as it has been designed by the prakriti, then there will be no agitation. But mind has got an experience, mind is an experience or karma bala. Atma has got the nature from the characteristics from the Brahman. If they are contradictory, functioning contradictorily, then there is an agitation, and that is called the agitation of the mind. Am I clear? Is it clear? Because they are not same. Is called, so when it is functioning same as the prakriti is concerned or the Atma is concerned, when you are moving together the same is called dharmic way of living. What is adharmam? Adharmam is that it has to move like this, but you are moving like this. So is adharmam. So between dharmam and adharmam there is a friction. When that friction is taking place, there is agitation in the mind. Who has created that? Mind has created. Yes. It's not like the ocean. The ocean is because of the substratum itself is like that. Whereas here what happened? It's a creation of mind. What is agitation? Agitation is creation of mind. Since agitation is creation of mind, peace also can be creation of mind. Right? If one understands Dharmam, from where? Through the Shravanam, through the Upasana, Nitidhyasana, through the Ashirvada and Anugraha of the higher powers, Guru, Ishvara, yes, Brahman. When you have this Ashirvada, when the Jnanam is not there, that's why it's known as Prajna. Prajna from the Ishvara, Prajna of the Guru, Prajna of the Parabrahman, which is not. Prajnanam is Prajna. Prajna is that, the Jnanam, that which is inherent in that source is called that Prajna, which is not there in us. So in order to have the Prajna from them, so Prajna is the first, then the Jnanam, then the Chaitanyam. Prajna, Jnanam, Chaitanyam. So this can be acquired, or this can have it only when you go beyond the mind. That means through the devotion, dedication, Shraddha and Bhakti, Upasana, the Didyasana, then the Diksha and the Ashirvada, Anugraha and Ashirvada, the blessings. It's called a bliss, the blessing. After getting a blessing, you are in a bliss. That's why blessing is, where you don't require anything else. That means that agitation of the mind, this is called, so from these things, because of these upadhis, these assistants that when you get, and when you are dedicated, for that what you have to do? You have to have dedication and you give it. So, the art of leaving has to be there, not living. Art of leaving has to be there. More and more of giving, more and more of devotion and dedication. In devotion and dedication, what we do? We are giving. Yes. Hey Bhagavan, I am doing my samarpanam. What are the? You are humble yourself. You are however big you are, whatever wealth you have, whatever money power you have, manpower you have, muscle power you have, whatever facilities you have, whatever position you have, what happens in front of God or a Guru, whatever it is, wherever you humble yourself, hey Bhagavan, nothing is, everything is. What happened? Give. Dedication and devotion. When the total devotion and dedication of the Ahankara takes place, then you get a blessing. When you get a blessing, that becomes a bliss, that's Prajna. Through that Prajna, what happens? Through that Prajna, your mind will acquire the eligibility or the knowledge of living in Dharmam. When you get that living in Dharmam, agitations are exhausted. When agitation is exhausted, the mind, like the ocean below the waves, mind is absolutely calm. When the mind is calm, there are no more thoughts are created. Why? No agitations are created. Whenever agitations are created, then only the thoughts are created. Only thoughts are created, the karma bhalas are there. When thought is not created, mind is absolutely calm because of this, and there is a so when the mind is calm, the nature of the mind, the swabhava, prakriti, and swabhava of the mana, swabhava of the antakarana, swabhava of the atma, all are same. Yes. So that what is supposed to be done by the atma will be executed by the mana in the physical plane, attain the same result as Atma is functioning. So he is exhausting the karma. Absolutely the Atma is free. Then what's called? Because there is no karma bhala, so Atma is free. It's called liberation. Liberated from the chain, shackles, bindings and shackles. It's freed. How? Because of this. This is how. Mind becoming calm, mind becoming thoughtless. Now you got it? How the thoughtlessness can be brought? Is it not possible? It is possible. The thoughtlessness is possible. The mind can become thoughtless. Thoughtlessness means what? Thoughtlessness is that which doesn't create agitation to the mind is called thoughtless mind. Not that mind is not functioning. Mind is active, but mind is not inactive. Another explanation for the mind. As I told you, mind is a big subject. When mind is active, there are no agitations. When mind is active means alert and active. Alertness and activeness of the mind comes only when there are no agitations. What is called act of mind? Acting of mind? The mind is active in the sense, mind is exactly acting. What is act? Acting means that repeating, doing some same thing is acting, you see. I am acting like a so and so. So that like a so and so is there. Mind should act as a Atma is called active mind. What is activity of mind? Active means active in the sense acting as the Atma or Antakarana. When the mind is doing that, mind is active. When the thoughts are active, mind underneath is peaceful, quiet. Is it not? If the waves are not there in the ocean will be active, waves will not be. Because all the ships will go on top of the ocean peacefully. All the animals will swim peacefully. People can swim peacefully. Everything will be. So who is active then? The mind is active. That which is the subtleness of it. The subtle area will be active. Mind also, if the agitations are not there, the subtle mind will be active. That subtle mind, when the subtle mind is active, what will it produce? Subtleness. A subtle mind will produce subtleness. What is the nature of the subtleness? Peace and calm. So when the mind is active, what happens? You get peace and happiness. Right? When the mind is active. Is why I called now the mind is inactive. Now the mind is inactive. Who is active? The agitations are active. When I classify it as like, even though you can call it whether wave and the ocean both are water. So the agitation and the mind both are mind. Now I am only hair splitting the analysis only for making us understanding that. So material is same, is it not? The ocean and the wave is same. Agitation and the mind is same. So that's why we call it as agitation. It cannot be separate. No individual activity. Without mind there cannot be agitation. Without agitation there is no mind. But to understand that. So who created the agitation? Mind has created the agitation. Who has to create the peace? Mind has to create the peace. Is why meditation transforms the mind. Bringing it to peace. So is why people said, the great nobleman said, you have to be not on meditation only for 20 minutes and 1 minute or 5 minutes and half an hour, but all the time you are in meditative state. What's that? When you are in meditative state, your mind is absolutely active state, which is absolutely calm and peaceful. When it is calm and peaceful, it will appear as if there is no mind. When it appears that there is no mind, no thought. When there is no mind, no thought, what is existing? Existing is only the characteristics of the Atma and Antakarana. So it will appear only there is Atma. Because everything flows with that. Then what happens? Then there will be only Prakriti. That means your Sharira and Mana will not be there, only Prakriti will be there. And when in Prakriti same thing happens, what will happen? Only Purusha will be there, Prakriti is also not there. So this is how the transformation takes place. So it's called transforming the mind. So we have to bring the mind into non-agitative status. Achievements, possessions and achievements and accumulations, they will create agitations in mind. Is why the jnanam is necessary. When you are remembering the jnanam, when you are getting the jnanam, that's why they said, when you gain the jnanam, along with the jnanam, there has to be bhakti also. Yes. How beautiful our shastras. Now I tell you, every time I tell this, because every time I learn something, I am indebted to them, You see how beautifully they have made, even God has created, or the Shastras have created, God has created, that the moment, the listening to, see, I'm just telling you, one having only the jnanam will become an ahankari, they said. So the jnanam has to be along with the devotion and dedication. Bhakti has to be there. That's why in Bhagavatam they said that the two sons, one is bhakti, another is jnanam. Is it not? Bhakti and jnanam. So bhakti and jnanam has to go to, what is bhakti? Devotion and dedication. Because through the humbleness only, see, the more and more you become jnani, the more and more humbleness should come. Ahankara should not come. But the one who doesn't have the dedication and devotion, he becomes an ahankari. So when an ahankara comes, the jnanam is incomplete. Again, everything is jnanam only, as I told earlier. Even bhakti is jnanam only. Is not. You can call it as bhakti. Ultimate of the jnanam is bhakti. When there is nothing to be learned, it becomes bhakti. So long there is something to be learned, then we must be acquiring the knowledge. At a point of time when nothing is to be learned, everything has to be renounced. The jnanam also has to be renounced, then only it becomes the bhakti. So that's why I said the Shastras and our ancient, this system is so wonderful. That is why they created in between. Vedas and Upanishads are from the books and from the reading, from understanding, from the jnanam is there. This jnanam I am acquiring, and this jnanam they have specified that, no, because everything cannot be written down. From time to time it has to be changed, explanations. So they said it has to be through a guru who exactly knows what Brahman is, so that he can interpret Brahman in different ways to different people. For a child, explaining the Brahman, and for an elderly person, explaining the Brahman, for a jnani, explaining the Brahman, for an ignorant, explaining the Brahman has to be different. But the meaning should not be different, or the purpose should not be different. It has to be through the Guru. So that is why in between, in our Hindu Shastras and other things, where an importance of the Guru has been given there. Why, so that the disciple will have, while acquiring the jnanam, he will have devotion and dedication together. With the devotion and dedication only, he will acquire jnanam. So, devotion and dedication and jnanam goes together. When it goes together, the one who is a Brahma Sakshatkari or Brahmajnani or a Brahmachari, he doesn't become an Ahankari. Goes with that. That's why Upasana and Nididhyasana is necessary. Yes. A prayer is necessary. A dedication is necessary. That's why the disciple has to seek for jnana, request for jnana, thirst for jnana. So he has to really beg for jnana. That means he has to have the dedication and devotion. That bhakti and tapasya has to be there. When that tapasya and bhakti has to be there, he will have importance to that jnanam. When he will have nothing else and this jnanam comes from the Guru, he will have a lot of absolute jnanam. That's why it's known as absolute jnanam. In absolute jnanam, there is full of bhakti, dedication, devotion. Why are you acquiring? Why this dedication is necessary along with the jnanam? The mixture of jnanam and dedication has to be there. Why? Why? Because I am acquiring this jnanam. This is all intricacies, very people who are reaching that level of sannyasa, for them only it is necessary, and as I always tell, but I must tell you, why dedication is, somebody says, oh, you read, I will understand the meaning 100% better than you, because I know Sanskrit very well, I can understand it very well, anyway I can interpret it, I can understand it very well. Absolutely may be right. One may be much better in language than me. Much more he will be knowing better than me, no doubt about it. He can absolutely understand and hair split the Sanskrit padas in various ways and then can understand it in many ways. Yes? But then what is the difference? He understanding through absolute technicality of the meaning word vacha, vakya, vani. Vakyo eto vacho nivartante. Through the vakya, if he understands, he will be understanding the core dry jnanam, which he becomes an ahankari. I know. the Brahman. When the man says, I know Brahman, he doesn't know Brahman. Whereas, that's why I said, why the Guru says that dedication and devotion is necessary and a disciple has to beg for it. No, in Guru Gita, Bhagavan says that, no, one has to be humble. No, many times you will find that the dialogue between that. No, he has done the insult to the Guru. He did not listen to he did not obey the Guru's orders, so he has to undergo that punishment. So that's why I said that, I always say no, that Brahma Hatya Babam, is always there. In that you can always see that these words are there. He has to understand it, because through the Guru only he has to understand why this condition has been put, or why this knowledge. This again, it's a knowledge. Why this kind of style of education has been created in that is because when you have dedication and devotion, you are begging for the knowledge, you have total dedication and devotion, bhakti and shraddha in you, and through the bhakti and shraddha, you are attaining this jnanam, which is very precious. Because with the dedication and devotion, you are getting it. So through upasana, nididhyasana for the Guru, you are getting it. And the mediator is there. So you are having total devotion and dedication towards that embodiment of jnanam is Guru. To that embodiment of jnanam. So you have got a dedication and devotion. When you have this dedication and devotion, you are acquiring this jnanam. So a person who is having, many people ask, the one who is having a bhakti marga, why he should have the jnanam? Is what the question asks many people. We don't answer to those people because they will not understand. As I told earlier, never discuss with an idiot. Not only that, he will pull you down, and the onlookers will think you are also an idiot because you are discussing with an idiot. So, here what happens? Here it is the jnani, the devoted. So that's why the bhakti, many people ask why, I have got immense bhakti, Bhagavan is there, I do puja, I see this. But he doesn't have the jnanam at all. That knowledge is not there, only that, out of fear he is, or through fear psychosis he is having the bhakti. Or for some material benefit he is having bhakti. Or some who are depressed, disappointed in life, he is having bhakti. Yes. I have seen many people. They don't have children. Somebody did not get married, or somebody did not have children. I had a cousin of mine, Rajgopal and one. When we were in Jamshedpur, much senior, my uncle actually from our family only. One uncle in a relationship he will come. We happened to be there. We were just new married and Jamshedpur. Suddenly they heard it from home. We are there. So suddenly elderly couple. They were working in Telco, Tata Locomotives. Telco is here. Tisco is two different colonies. Suddenly both of them, Rajgopal and wife, came, and they are absolute devotees of Lord Guru Ayappan and Shiva. A lot of things. Sai Baba and all that, whatever it is. And the whole house is a temple like that. So we went to the house, we were invited. The whole house is temple, immense bhakti, no doubt about it. Anything that they do, they will do according to our, like we say, do cooking and do offer the prasadam. After prasadam we eat, we pray, morning pray, afternoon pray, evening pray. Their life is totally devoted and dedicated. But what happens? They are either disappointed, depressed, that they don't have children. So they went into bhakti. See, there's a purpose behind it. So they went into bhakti. Or they have wanted to this. The jnanam was missing there. Because when the jnanam is missing, what happens? Suppose they fall ill, they will say, see, God, I have been praying to the God for so long, and I am sick today, how can I fall ill? So they have got that ajnanam that will come in them. So why the jnanam is required? Why the devotion and dedication? Why bhakti is required? Then why it is necessary? Now why? You should have bhakti towards the Guru then. That's why in the ashrama, in the Gurukula, in the ashrama and all that, the children are sent, so they were taught to first to pray to the Guru. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu. That's how they begin. Even for a small child to learn the language, they learn in the beginning, they make them write on the rice and things like that with the gold and with the finger. Om Sri Gurave Namah, Om Sri Gurubhyo Namah. This is how it starts with that. Why is it that? Dedication and devotion. Why this? So, first devotion and dedication is necessary, and through the devotion and dedication, as a substratum of the basis of knowledge, you accumulate knowledge. So you may ask me, if the substratum is there, bhakti is there, why should I have knowledge? At last I should have bhakti only. No. Yes, you should have the knowledge, because through the knowledge only you can enrich the bhakti. Through jnanam only you can understand what true bhakti is, so that there is no ignorance during the process of it. So through the bhakti you acquire the jnanam. Why do I acquire the jnanam? You acquire the jnanam through bhakti in order to renounce the jnanam at one point of time. Is why you acquire the jnanam. Whatever is acquired, you have to renounce. At the time of Brahma Sakshatkaram, whatever you have to be renounced. The bhakti, what you call, the jnanam, what you call, both are same actually. At one point of time you will find both are one. You cannot make out it. Both will be renounced. The bhakti will be renounced and the jnana will be renounced. Then what remains? Brahman remains. That's all. If you don't renounce these two, how can the Brahma Sakshatkaram will come? Everything has to be renounced. When now you might not get that link. Why I said renounced? In order to have the Brahma Sakshatkaram, I told you this earlier also, I am repeating, Brahma Sakshatkaram is that, not that you are seeing the Brahman, you become the Brahman. When you become the Brahman, this is the Brahman. That's called Brahma Tattva, Brahma Jnana, Brahma Sakshatkaram. So when you have become the Brahman, who is there to do the bhakti? Who is there to know the jnanam? Nobody is there, no. So when you say, I have bhakti, you are different from Brahman. I have jnanam, I am different from Brahman. Yes. So till the time you are a Brahma Sakshatkari, you should have bhakti and jnanam. Yes. When you are getting into that, this has to be renounced. After getting into the flight, the aero bridge has to come back. The flight cannot take off. Or the ladder has to be removed. Everything that has happened should be taken back. Then same thing. When you go to the Brahman, whatever is there has to be taken out. No bhakti there, no bhakti, no jnanam, nothing is there, only Brahman is there. Is it clear? Who does it? Mind. So through the mind, through that bhakti and the jnanam and dedication and devotion, through understanding the scriptures in the right manner, through understanding the way of living through the brahmacharyatva, austerity in the right manner, through executing the karmas in the dharmic way, you create non-agitations of the mind, and after creating the non-agitation of the mind, you become thoughtless, you become merging with the Atma and then Atma Sakshatkaram, you gain the Atma Sakshatkaram, you transform your mind into the Atma, transform your mind into the Antakarana and Atma, and there is no more karma phalas left out. When karma phalas are not left out, you get a karma mukti. When you get a karma mukti, you get a Brahma Sakshatkaram, at last gradually going there. Is why he said, mind is the fourth part through which you can identify Brahman. Clear. Mind as it is, the mind qualities we have discussed quite a lot, but here in this part, this portion of the mind is what I would like to explain. I think this is the maximum. We have come to the topmost of the mind. So long we were discussing beating around the bush activities of the mind. how not to become jealous, how not to become. They are all only because of the agitations. Unless this agitation is stopped, how can I become all that? As an ahankara, we should have an ahankara. We have got these emotions. Emotions are given there for us. If these emotions are not there, as soon as you are born, you become a sannyasi. If these emotions are not there, is it not? So these emotions have to be there. Could you get it? Why then? Why unnecessary troubling us? Why didn't he make me born without these emotions? That would have been ideal. No? He is wanting us to remove it and go back to the zero. So why do you give at all? You are lazy. He wants to find you out whether you are active or not, whether you are executing your karma or not. So how will he know that you are really dedicated and devoted? How will you know what is your bhakti, what is your shraddha? Unless I give you troubles, how will I know you have got bhakti? So what happens? He gave you all the emotions, attachments, attractions and desire, everything has been given. Now you see, you got this also, you got this also. It's not that you are deprived of. He has given you additional things, that's all. Now that additional thing, we are attached to only additional things, is it not? We are never attached to the original. So what happened? Because you have acquired all these things, among this, working with this, all the odds and events and the around you, among the odds, you have to be, sthita prajna has to be there. That's what he's trying to look at you. Whether you have got that stability of mind, the faith, absolute faith, with all this. This is the only truth. Whoever comes and goes, no, come on, emotions, no, okay, you anger, you desire, you jealousy, you this. Please be there, I don't mind. You will not direct me. I have got my dedication and devotion too. Only this. Mind has to use these emotions. For the physical world, these emotions are necessary. And these emotions are necessary for you to, in order to, not to use it for the Brahma Sakshatkaram, but use it for the purpose of execution of karmas. This is necessary. God has given the blessing for the snake, the serpent, to hiss. By hissing, nobody is harmed. He is not spitting poison. It will not sprinkle poison. By hissing, what happens? He creates a fear in the other. So he can have the safety. Understood? Am I getting it? He has got a hood. Why a snake should have a hood like this? Is it necessary? Technically speaking, is it necessary? He has to crawl, he has to eat something, survive and die. That's all. No. Why should he have this? Again, to have a safety of his. So he has been given a shape. He has given a sound, hissing sound. All these are used for what? Not for any of his benefit. Not for his survival, but for his safety. Same way, you have got anger, you have got emotion, you have got desire, you have got these things are for safety of your mind, but not for consumption to the mind. Yeah, use it. Sometimes one has to pretend to be angry, so we should know how to get angry. Pretension of anger sometimes will save you from certain situation. Pretension of fear will save you from situation. Oh no, I will not do that. Fear. I will fall down. Now if I go beyond this, I will fall down. That fear has to be there. Is it not? That will protect you. But it's not meant for something else. You see. But we are not using for that, but we are using the fear for something else. I will not jump into that. I will die. That fear has to be there or not? It has to be there. Anger has to be pretended, has to be there or not? You should not get angry, can pretend anger. Desire has to be there. Desire is that. Desire is what? For physical activities, certain desire has to be there. But don't consume it by the mind that only desire will make me progressive. Only desire will make me contented. No. Desire, let it be there to that extent of desire wherever it is necessary. That's why austerity, brahmacharyatam has to be learned. So in the brahmacharyatam, all these things are learned. So that the mind doesn't get attached and attracted to those emotions, but utilize emotions to create a non-agitative status of mind, whereas we are using emotions for agitative status of mind. Don't ask him to come inside the house. Use him outside only. Garden tools have to be kept outside only. Don't bring it inside. They're not used. The big scissors like that, cutter, that pickaxe and all those things have to be kept out. That has to be used outside. They are important, but that is not here. It is to be there only. Same way, your emotions and other things are necessary for a physical function in this one, for your own safety. For your safety, like snakes hissing, things like that. So the mind should not consume that. But what happens here? In the execution of karmas, in the dharmic way, you are utilizing the emotions. So there is a friction, and because there is a friction, there is agitation of the mind. Now have you got from the beginning to end how the agitations and how to remove the agitation? And this is how the Brahma Sakshatkaya. So the prana, the diver birds, hey Jabala, this is the way that you can find Brahman through the mana. When you find through the Brahman through the mana, the mind also becomes Brahman. Mind, Antakarana, Atma, there is no differences there, everything becomes Brahman. So through this you can Brahman. So these are the four padas. And that the diver bird identified the vital force, spoke of the meditation regarding himself. So he said that do meditation on these prana, chakshu, ear, shrotra, and mana. Meditate on that. That means tapasya on that. Meditating in the sense, tapasya on that. How tapasya? Tapasya. Through the tapasya, you analyze the activity of mind. What is mind? It is only because there is an activity, we call it as a mind. Activities of mind, and stabilize those activities so that you can see the Brahman. Because the mind is agitative, you have no time to go beyond the agitated mind. You are not traveling at all. You are entangled in the agitation itself. The ship, because it is on the waves, it keeps on shaking, moving, is it not? It is never stable. Any ship traveling on the water, is it any time stable? No. Even when it is anchored, it keeps on going up and down because the waves are hitting against that. It cannot be. So in order to have the calmness, what it has to do? It has to go beyond the waves. So a submarine probably will have peaceful travel without moving up and down. Even a plane, when it is traveling on the air, because of the bumps in the air, it goes up and down because of the agitation. So anything, they're all created. I told you there is a difference. There it is because of the substratum. It is because not the activity of the one who is moving. Here in the mind, it is the mind who is creating the agitation with the help of the indriyas and the emotions, tools. So they have to be steadied, they have to be regularized, they have to be normalized, they have to become non-agitative. So they can be non-agitative only, not physically. You cannot hold an indriya, there is no indriya. You don't know where is the indriya. You don't know where is the chakra, which is the indriya. How to hold the indriya, how not to smell, how not to taste, how not to hear, how not to see, how not to touch. This I can only through jnanam. By touching I touch, by touching I don't touch. Both with the jnana. How is it? You think it's not possible? Yes, it is possible. Because of the controlled non-agitative status of mind, when you touch the fire, fire will not burn. A great tapasvi, we walked on fire also. Oh, even a simple exercise like that. Why? Mind has to be brought into non-agitative, dharmic way. I and fire should become one. How can fire burn fire? I and fire should become one. That's why yoga. It's yoga. Same way, if I become one, what is that? Fire? Prakriti. Panchabhuta. Prakriti. So I and the Prakriti should become one, then there will be no agitation. When there is no agitation, I don't get burnt. A Maharshi, Tapasvi, Jnani, you must have heard Adi Shankaracharya, who went to meet him for the first time, who is absolute Jnani. He was sitting in the husk, rice husk is completely covered. Inside that they have set the fire. And he is sitting in Samadhi and he is burning his body. That's why Adi Shankara meets him first time. Then he said, no, you go to, I am in the process of going, so you go to so and so. He diverts him to somebody. Now you imagine, he is sitting cool. His body is burning, disintegrating. This is how it is. He has become one with the fire. He has become yogi with the fire. What is he doing? He is burning himself because of the jnanam that he has acquired. He is dedicating him, utilizing the jnanam for the purpose of renunciation. It's one way of doing it. So he has burned himself. This is how he disintegrated. He is utilizing that jnanam for dedication and devotion. So what I am trying to tell you is that if we become that, we have to become that non-agitative state. What is meditating? Meditating on the mind is that activities of the mind has to be meditated on, and we have to bring that non-agitative status of the mind. Mind, meditating in the sense, meditating through the mind only. So when I will make the mind the karta as a bhokta and make him understand this bhoga is only because of the karma of you. You being a karta, you are being the bhokta. So if you don't want to be the bhokta, you should not become the karta, can be made understood by, this because first level is the shrotram, shruti. By listening the shastras and jnanam through the guru, you identify that. And then you go into meditation, and meditation is possible only through the blessing. Even though we think by concentrating we are doing the meditation, it is not possible. Thousands of people are doing meditation in the world. Today it's a craze. I ask anybody, all are meditating only. The only difference is that most of them are slightly made a small difference in the meditating. They have made a gap between after me dictating, meditating is meditating. That's not meditation. Tapasya. Tapa. Dhyanam is different. Tapa is different. Dihi, buddhi, to be merging with the knowledge. It's called chittam. There should be no intelligence. That intelligence has to be merged with the knowledge. So the activity, the kriya is no more there. It's an automatic process. And this automatic process is not a karma. That by concentrating I can meditate. By concentrating you can concentrate. That's all. It is not meditation. Yes. Concentration of a liquid is a concentrate of a liquid. Concentrate of such and such juice is a concentrate. Concentrate of a perfume is concentrate of a perfume. It is not invisible. It is not diluted. It is not disintegrated. It's not happened, is it not? So concentration is concentration, that's all. Concentration of all activities for the time being in one nutshell. And the moment the concentration is lost, the whole thing again comes out. That's all. That is not dhyanam. Dhyanam is not concentration. Concentration is an activity of the mind. Concentration is an activity of the sharira and mana. Am I right? You have to go beyond concentration. You should not utilize the mind. Then only the buddhi, bodham, the intelligence will convert, will transform into the chittam. For that, absolute jnanam is necessary first of all, because through jnanam we are able to direct the mind to become calm. Look, you are not going to meditate, concentrate, because through jnanam, what do you understand? We tell the mind. Who tells the mind? The Atma tells the mind. I tell the mind means what? That means the mind is somebody lower than me. Understand that? I am telling the mind. So that means mind has to listen to me. Mind is under my control. So mind can be heard. Mind can be directed. Isn't it? That's why we say direct your mind towards that. Direct your thought towards that. Calm your mind. See, you're all giving instructions to the mind only. That means mind is absolutely in your control. Whereas we are functioning with the mind only. It's a big confusion there. Karta is the Bhokta. Karta and Bhokta is the one. Now what happens here? Through meditation, in meditation what happens? You are telling the mind because of the jnanam. You are telling the mind physically. First of all, you are telling the mind what you are doing. This attachment, attraction is not right. Desire is not right. It is not necessary. We want peace. We want the subtleness of the absolute subtleness of the peace is what I want. You don't have to go after. I don't want anything. I have renounced everything. I have everything. Not that I don't want anything. I have everything. Since I have everything, you don't have to desire for anything. See, this is the classification. I have everything. You don't have to go for, because of that you don't have to go after everything. As I told you, if somebody is going after something, he will be only after something. Never before. No. Or never with. That's why we are saying after that. After money, you. Money is in front. After health, you. Health is in front and you are behind. So don't go after. Tell the mind, don't go after. Just be there. That's all. This jnanam only can tell. So this activity, for doing this activity in the tapasya, in the dhyanam, this jnanam is necessary. This has to be absolutely not just telling, outwardly from here. No, you have to convince. You should be really having that knowledge. That is not that you are telling the mind. You should have that knowledge in you. When you have that knowledge in you, in the mind, in the chitta, in the bodha, in the intelligence, if this has got, automatically what happens? Then the mind is known. Okay, this is the purpose. But still, the mind is mind. Again, it will have activity. Now there has to be Ashirvada, blessing as necessary. Then only that me dictating will not be there. The meditating will automatically happen. The me will be taken out, and then the meditating takes place. Dhyanam takes place. Tapasya takes place because of that Ashirvada. That is why that blessing is necessary for the bliss. Then what happens? Then you go beyond the mind, we say. Then the mind is no more active, and mind is not telling what we are doing. Mind is not experiencing what we are doing. Mind is not telling you are peaceful, you are calm, you are intelligent, you are this, you are that, you are that. You are Brahma Sakshatkari. Nothing is being told. You have made the mind absolutely in the substratum, bottom, where non-agitative state comes. And then you have automatically, you means you the prana, you the atma. You the atma is superseding everything and transmits this knowledge constantly to the mind, so that the mind ultimately, a permanent state of non-agitative, permanent state of mind becomes you. That is how the meditation, the tapasya happens. After that, then no more tapasya is required, because you are always in tapasya. That's why always in meditative state. Once the mind has become calm, mind is no more agitative, you are 24 hours on meditative state. Now you don't have to sit like this. No more. It's already, it sits up. Anyway you walk, anyway you do, whatever you do, nothing is affecting the mind. It's not agitative. In a brahmachari, he has an absolute non-agitative mind. So the mindlessness, we called it. It's no more active, because it doesn't create any more of these active emotions and active indriyas to function against the wishes of the nature, prakriti, dharmam. And you execute. You are still utilizing the emotions. You are still utilizing the emotions. You are still utilizing the indriyas. As a brahmachari, executing a karma outside dharmically, which is not producing any of the karma phalas in order to assimilate and accumulate. This happens. So, giving, not getting. No possessiveness, no possessions. Just giving. Doing it is how a brahmachari is living as a grihastha. When a brahmachari is living as a grihastha, just giving, not possessing, is how you bring the mind into non-agitative states. Is it clear fairly? Mind in the Brahman, to have the Brahman. So, hey, Styakama, this is how you meditate on the mind and others and can identify the Brahman and be the Brahman. It's called Brahma Sakshatkara. So he, prana, the vital force, named possessed of an abode. The mind is called the abode of the enjoyments acquired by all organs. Any organ functions, the result of that, this man is like waiting for collecting the tax, Oh, liver, you have functioned well, give me my share. All the profits that you earned, give it to me. Heart functioned very well, give me your all the shares. You are in love, you are fallen in love. You fall, give me the benefit of it. So, even though jokingly said, mind is the one who is an enjoyer of all the acquired by the organs. The foot to which it belongs, that is named as the foot, Ayatanavan Bhavaha, possessed of an abode. Possessed of an. See, here is also possession, there is also possession. Here I am possessing it, there abode is possessing me. Brahman is possessing me. See? So I don't have a possession, everything is Brahman. When I have a possession, I don't have Brahman. And I am not Brahman. So I should not have any possession and possession. When I have a position and possession, I don't have Brahman. So Bhagavan said ultimately, Maharishi says here, the third sloka, we are finishing the 8th section now. Sa eva etam vidwan chatushkalam padam brahma ayatanavan ityupasta ayatanavan asim loke Bhavatyayattanavo tanavato kalokajayati ya etamevam vidvas chadushkalam padam brahmanah ayatanavan ityupaste itya ashtama khandaha iti ashtama khandaha. The 8th session is completed. Here there is nothing, we have already explained. The meaning of this particular sloka is that he who have known this way, this 1 foot of the Brahman is consisting of these 4 parts, meditate on it, possessed of an abode, he becomes possessed of an abode in this world. He who having known thus, this 1 foot of Brahman consisting of 4 parts, meditate on it as possessed of an abode, wins the worlds that are auspicious. Worlds that are spacious, what we call it as spacious. We win over the space. Spacious means space. When you meditate on the prana, chakshu, shrotra and the mana, you win over the space. You are no more there. Space is no more there for me. What is there? Brahman is there. This is how you identify. So he says that in this world, similarly, after death, he wins the worlds that are indeed spacious. When you are thinking that you are living, then you require a space. When you are dead, the space is no more there. For a Maharishi, even though he has a Sharira and Mana, he has got an Atma, he has got a body, shape and form, he doesn't have a space. He is in Brahman. It's a status of mind. Here, for a normal person, he has to die. So that is why, because his mind has to become non-agitative. So long the mind is active and agitative, for an agitative mind, for fulfilling the activity of an agitative mind, there has to be a space. Understood? Am I right? When you do not have an agitative mind, do you require a space? When you don't want to play football, do you want to play a football field? It's no more necessary. Only when you have to play, then the field is necessary. The space is necessary. Only when you are playing, then only field is necessary. When you are not playing, when you are in austerity for a brahmachari, that's why I said, for a brahmachari, whether he is a grihastha doesn't make any difference. Why? Because he doesn't have that space, that spacious thing. Where is he? He is brahmachari. I am attached to the Brahman, but activities are happening. It's not my space or I am in space. I am in Brahman. But when mind is agitated and through the mind and emotions, when you are functioning, you require so much of space depending upon activity. Section 8 is completed. Section 9. So, 491 we will start. 4th chapter is still continuing. I think we'll be finishing. 4 is only up to 4 is up to 17 sections are there, but they are small. Okay, some more chapters. Fifth chapter still not reached. The 5th chapter. Okay. Om Shanti.